There's one particular incident, there's one particular thing that I remember that happened sometime back in 2004 or 2006. There was this girl from TPS school who had a leaked MMS. People didn't treat her as a victim, they treated her as if she had brought that onto herself. There are many incidents that have happened just like this, where the victim is blamed rather than the victim being supported. I grew very suicidal, and my parents noticed it, but they thought it was because of pressure from college, from studies, from decisions about the future. But I don't think they would have thought of it being because of this, because of my pictures being leaked. I tried to overdose on pills.
My relationship started right when I got into college, first year. And having been alienated in the boarding school, this guy was a major help to me, because when you're in a boarding school, you're surrounded with friends, and sometimes when things go bad, you have nobody to look to. And at that point, he was there for me. And in fact, it was me who first confessed that I have developed emotions, the romantic kinds, for him.
Initially, when a relationship begins, there's always a very happy, lovey-dovey period that you have. It's called the honeymoon period. During that period, you feel really nice about yourself, you feel very nice about the relationship. You feel as if the relationship is going to go on forever, and it's a very positive feeling. The first part is like a fairy tale.
We would meet every weekend, almost every weekend, sometimes during the week. I'd skip classes. Our dates were also like that. Like, we'd go for street food and roam around on his bike and just those things. It was really, really, really good. It was a nice phase. Like, that was my first ever real relationship.
We would talk about almost everything. We talk about what we had for breakfast. We talk about how college was going on. The thing I liked about this guy was that I could talk to him about anything. And that is what made me start trusting him. That is why I initially felt comfortable with moving to the next step, which was sexting.
Because of the physical intimacy and because of the times that I had to go home for my vacations after college, there was this desire that he had to be with me, and that's when, sexting happened, and that's when there was this whole thing of sharing pictures, videos, video chats, which were all very, very, very personal.
And I didn't feel like I was being judged for it. This wasn't the first time I was sexting, not the first time I was sexting with pictures or whatever. I had a boyfriend before this, and there would be nudies and semi-nudies, just my torso. There were 2 or 3 pictures in which the bottom half of my face could be seen.
All those sorts of pictures, which would be suggestive, also not be suggestive, be absolutely explicit, completely, absolutely without clothes, with lingerie on, shower pictures, things like that, shower videos also.
What was the medium over which they were shared?
Internet was the medium over which they were shared. WhatsApp was a big thing. It had just started or something, and Yeah. That was stupid.
If you've heard about the phrase, familiarity breeds contempt. When you know someone for a long time, you start disliking stuff about the person, and the same level of happiness doesn't stay anymore. You start trying to run away from it.
The dependency became too much. He wasn't happy with the fact that maybe I went around with my friends and I had fun with them. So that's exactly like these little things became a little big. And then they became bigger. And then I was supposed to tell him of every movement I made. Okay, text him, I'm going to college now. Class got over, next class starting. Lunch break, college over, I'm back to my place. At this point, I had also seen and realized that there was no future. It wasn't a fairy tale. And I decided to call it quits.
I eventually got tired of it. I got tired of talking to him, of sexting him, because he started pushing me towards. He wanted to have sex, and I didn't want that. He started pushing me for that.
That's when he played his trump card. He was like, I have your pictures. You can't leave me. Because if you do, I'm going to tell everybody what's been happening between the two of us. Your friends, your family, everybody who you've thought important to you.
He called me and he threatened me. He said that he has pictures and he's going to leak them, and that he'll show them to everyone. He'll post them everywhere, and everyone would know what kind of a person I am. I didn't think he would actually go forward with it. I didn't think he would actually do it, because there's no reason as to why he would try to defame me just because I refused to have sex with him.
I think my first reaction was disbelief. I couldn't believe that this was actually happening to me.
One of the reasons why I used Snapchat was because Snapchat doesn't actually save the pictures. Like, if you compare it to a different application, if you send a picture, it will get saved in the person's gallery. But here in Snapchat, the picture is only online, and you can view it for 3 to 10 seconds, which is set by the sender. And if you take a screenshot, the sender would get to know that you've taken a screenshot. So that's why I chose Snapchat. What happened first was, can I start again this part? Pause. I need water.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So I checked online, and there's actually a hack for Snapchat, which is easily available on Play Store. And if you use the hack, then the person won't get to know that you took a screenshot.
At that point, I actually felt that my whole world is going to crash. I mean, it's not every day that somebody turns around and tells you that you were so wrong in trusting me.
That day, I asked him not to do this. I asked him that, I actually begged him that don't do this. It's going to ruin my life. Don't do this. But he just hung up. He didn't listen. He hung up.
I mean, right now talking about it, I draw a blank because I just don't know what to say. What can you say when something like this is happening? What can you do? You're helpless at that point of time, but you also don't want to give in. And somehow you've just got to be strong for yourself. There was a lot of crying, a lot of weeping, a lot of accusing.
I actually trusted this guy, B. When I sent him the pictures, I I trusted him. I didn't think that he would do something like this, that he would actually break my trust in such a way.
It was every day that he would ask me to come back to him, or he'd, share my pictures and videos. In fact, our pictures and videos. It went on for 3 months, 3 or 4 months.
Nothing happened for a week. After that, a week later, B called me, and he sounded drunk. He said that he's leaked pictures of me. He showed them to people around, and everyone knows how I am. Everyone knows what kind of person I am. I didn't know what to do. I felt completely helpless. I was actually helpless. I felt as if this is the end of my social life, and no one's going to talk to me after this. After this gets out, I'd be ostracized from society and everywhere else.
After a certain point in the span of those 3 months, he started begging. Could you please talk to me once? Please reply to my messages. Can we please meet once? And it was just that. First it was begging, and then begging, and then it was threatening. Like, say, from around 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening till 12 o'clock in the night, sometimes 1 or 2, there'd be blackmailing. And it was out of my fear that I would start replying to his messages after he would start blackmailing me.
So after a few days, I got to know that I got a call from a mutual friend, and he told me that he had seen the pictures, and that. So I asked him to prove it that he had actually seen the pictures, that he had actually leaked them, and he described a few of the pictures. Like, he described some of the stuff that you could make out, that you could know only if you had seen the pictures, only if you had seen them. In one of the pictures, there's I have a birthmark, and in one of the pictures you can see the birthmark, and that is how you can. That's the only way you can know that it's actually me. I didn't talk to anyone at home because I felt that I would be blamed for this. I didn't talk to anyone else, anyone at the college. I didn't talk to any law enforcement. It just felt as if I would be blamed for it.
When you're being blackmailed like that, it's very hard for you to keep a straight face and go about your day, to not let it affect your day-to-day activities. And it's very difficult for you to, really let go and laugh, even if something's supremely funny. When all of this had started happening, my mum was there. Almost on a daily basis, she'd be like, "What's going on? Tell me, you can talk to me. Is everything okay? You're not laughing. You're not being yourself. What's going on?" I wanted to avoid those questions, so I'd lock myself up. I wasn't social, and definitely I closed all my avenues. Every person who could help me, I had distanced myself from them.
There's one particular incident, there's one particular thing that I remember that happened sometime back in 2004 or 2006. There was this girl from DPS school who had a leaked MMS. People didn't treat her as a victim, they treated her as if she had brought that onto herself. That's how it's instilled in you ever since you're a child. When you see anything in the news, they always blame the victim. They never question the person who did it. And when they do question the person who did it, it's too late. We've all heard the phrase that if a guy sleeps with 10 girls, he's a stud. If a girl sleeps with 10 guys, she's a whore. We've all heard this, and many of us actually believe this.
This one particular night, after he'd done blackmailing me, and I had done, I discussed issues and things with him at length, telling him why I can't be with him and why I need to live my own life right now. He said, okay, if this is what makes you happy, I'll let you go. But the next morning, he was back to threatening me, and I was so exhausted. I was so exhausted dealing with this thing. It was the only thing that I was dealing with for 3 months of my life. I had exams, and I fucked those exams up. And the next morning when he blackmailed me again, I was like, that's it. This is what you want to do? You want to release my pictures? You want to release our videos? Hold on. Or you want to tell mom, you want to tell my family what was happening between us? If that's what you want to do, I'm going to save you the trouble.
I grew very suicidal, and my parents noticed it, but they thought it was because of pressure from college, from studies, from decisions about the future. But I don't think they would have thought of it being because of this, because of my pictures being leaked. I tried to overdose on pills. I tried a lot of stuff, but it completely destroyed my outlook about how the future could be. I didn't know what I would do after this. I didn't want to face the consequences of the images leaking.
And I stopped talking to him at that point. I went to my mom and I told her everything. I told her that I was in a relationship with an asshole, that I was stupid enough to trust him. My mom asked me the extent to which I was intimate with him, and I told her the whole truth. I told her that I lost my virginity to him. I told her that we were physically very, very intimate, and that he had all my pictures and all my videos for real. And needless to say, there was a lot of crying and shouting and screaming between Ma and me. Basically, I was at the receiving end. But she called him and she took my side. And from there on, my family took over the whole thing. Their mom told dad, despite my begging her not to tell him, But mom told dad, and dad took matters into his own hands. There were several calls exchanged between dad and the asshole. And it was sorted. I mean, he backed off and he stopped talking to me. That is what I wanted, right?
Even if I told my parents about this, maybe they were taking some action against Mr. B, but the actions that would have been taken against me would have been more severe. I would have had to give up on so much. Maybe I'd have to stop going to college. Maybe my phone would be confiscated and I wouldn't be allowed to go out anymore, to talk to anyone anymore. What I think is they would have thought that I had broken their trust when they gave me the mobile phone to use. They gave it to me for being in touch, and what they would have thought that was that I took advantage of it, put them in that situation where they would have to think about all these consequences, about all these things, about how their daughter would have had to face society and everything, and how they would have to face society. Because I knew that I wasn't actually at fault. The only mistake I did was maybe to talk to him.
I think the whole thing of relationships with your parents played out a little in the 1 month of silence that I met from my dad. I think it had a lot to do with a woman's virtue.
A few months later, after this incident happened, after I got to know that he leaked the pictures, he texted me and he asked me how my parents are, to kind of make me realize that he can still do more damage. That he can still show my parents what had happened, show other people what had happened, what I had done, and how I was, whatever he thought of me. He felt that he still deserved to take more revenge and that he can still do more damage.
This guy is my family friend, and there are several occasions in which both our families are invited and we have to go. I try and avoid as much as possible, but I can't avoid completely. There are times when I still see him, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, but and every time I see his face, I'm taken back to this. I am taken back to what he did to me, and in all honesty, that's the point where I just want to break his nose.
After the incident in June, when he texted me on Facebook and asked me about my parents, he apologized for the entire incident. This happened sometime towards the end of 2014, when he apologized for what he had done. He said that he can't really undo the damage and said that he had learned his lesson. But even after he had apologized, I forgave him, but I didn't actually forgive him. I just said that, it's okay, whatever happened, happened. But I couldn't really move forward. I still think that maybe there's a slight 1% chance that he might come back into my life with the same threat of doing what he had already done. I still have that fear that he might do it again. Even after he's apologized for it, even after I forgave him for it, just for the sake of it.
have no idea if he still has my pictures. I have no clue on how I can ascertain that those pictures and those videos have been deleted.
Like looking back at it now, how do you think it has changed you overall as a person?
I'm on the lookout all the time for someone to harm me. It takes a lot from me to let somebody else click my picture on their device.
I would second guess everything anyone did for me. If someone would help me with notes in a class, I would question their intentions. I would question their intentions. Maybe this person is helping me because they think of me as such a person who would give them sexual favors in return for this. That's not the kind of person anyone actually is.
Did you have you shared in your
Oh,
earlier relationship?
not in my dreams am I ever going to share such pictures with anybody ever again. Even if I'm married to that guy, even if I'm fucking married with kids, no way. Nobody has access to such pictures or such videos ever again.
After this incident, I tried dating a new guy after 3-4 years, and finally I've started sharing pictures with him. But initially there was a slight fear of the pictures leaking, of the same incident repeating. But now that I've been with him for over a year or so, I trust him, and I don't think he's going to leak pictures like that anymore. I don't think he's going to leak my pictures. This new guy.
Hey guys, I hope you like this new episode of Chase. Please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.